Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Jays With Down podcast. I'm your host Jade, and today we're going to be talking about the Colts and Anthony Richardson and the whole QB situation going on there. I'm going to give my thoughts on it, and on how them benching him right now at this point in the season may not be the best idea long term as they think it's going to be for Joe Flacco, and we'll get into that specifically. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button right here on YouTube and check us out on socials, Instagram, X, on TikTok as well. We're there, Jays With Down. And also, you can check us out on all audio podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. Jays With Down, ! It's the name. Search us up. Follow us, working out, driving, whatever. Listen to us. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, so like I said, now the Colts benched their top draft pick, Anthony Richardson, from a year ago. Remember, he was picked. Richardson was a guy in the draft that he had a lot of upside. He had a big arm. He is mobile. He played at Florida, of course. And he's a great football player. The only thing about him is the precision, it's the accuracy, it's those technical things that he, as a quarterback, has not really developed yet. But the Colts drafted him, I feel like, because of that long-term upside, because of the potential that he has to be a good quarterback in this league if he's molded correctly and coached, and he's brought along correctly, in his career, going up. And I think that the Colts was a good place for him to go. Shane Steichen is a good offensive mind. And when they picked him, I'm like, okay, this could be a good, this is a good selection for the Colts, who finally can get their franchise QB after going through a carousel of quarterbacks since Andrew Luck retired in 2018, I think it was. And this is, like I said, this is a chance for them to have their franchise guy, finally. And he played about 5 games or so his rookie year. He got injured and shoulder injury, and he missed the rest of his rookie season. And he came back this year, and he's been struggling. Start off the year, a lot of turnovers and bad decision making. But my thing with the Colts is like, I understand like they think that their roster is in a position to win right now. I get that, right? And they have a very talented roster, of course. Jonathan Taylor at running back, offensively, you got Michael Pittman Jr., who they signed to an extension, and Grover Stewart on the defensive side of football. Zaire Franklin, you got that Colts team is really it's talented across the board, and they very often perform underwhelmingly, in congruence with their talent. But I do believe that Anthony Richardson eventually, he's going to be a bona fide starter in this NFL. I think right now where the future of the league is headed towards those mobile guys who also have the ability to be precise passers that they can extend plays. They may not run all the time, but they can extend plays that have possibility of running, pick up those first downs when they need to, just to keep the defense off guard, off balance. That's why a lot of teams you see now are looking for those guys that can move, that have that elusiveness in the pocket. Guys like Bo Nix is an example who the Broncos took this year. Guys like that, right? Drake May also in New England, he can move, and he is he's precise. Well, his precision is that's going to get there. It's going to come eventually. But they're rookies, right? Included in Richardson. I mean, he was a rookie last year, but he didn't play but 5 games, and now this year, they pulled the plug on him after a few weeks, and I'm really just sitting here thinking like, man, like, I don't think this was the best idea for Indianapolis to do at this moment, because Joe Flacco right now doesn't give you much of a better chance to win in the present either, because last night they played the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. Flacco turned the ball over. He was not playing very well. And due to the fact that him being an older quarterback, he's not mobile. So there is no threat of escaping the pocket, keeping the defense off balance as opposed to what Anthony Richardson can do, right? And so the Vikings were key on that. And the Vikings, didn't have their best performance either. They turned the ball over 3 times, I think, and the Colts defense played well, very well. However, their offense could not score a single point. I think all the points that they did score, which was 13, was all the defense, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And that's just like, that's very bad. That's very bad, And now Shane Steichen's kind of looking a little strange because it's like, you roll with Joe Flacco, who went out there and really like just underperformed for you, as opposed to maybe sticking with Richardson and just let him get those reps and just I understand I understand in football and in all sports really, like, the coaches only can do so much because the players have to go out there and actually execute what they've been taught and instructed to do. But as a coaching staff, if you're Shane Steichen and you're this Colts coaching staff, like, you have to find a way to I feel like sit with Anthony Richardson, and cater the offense to what he does best, and figure out ways to scheme your plays to where, you can be successful offensively, but also, you're not asking him to do things he may not be completely ready to do at the moment, but mold him so he gets there eventually, right? Of course, you don't want him to stay stagnant in the position that he is in at the moment. You want him to improve. You want him to grow. I think he can. I don't feel like I gave him the proper chance to do so, and now that he's benched for what seems like however long foreseeable future, it doesn't seem likely that, he's going to, because the only way you're going to get better in sports, especially in football, is reps. You got to play. You got to play, like you, that's the only way you learn. You have to go out there. You got to do the reps. You got to play. You just have to make mistakes on the go. That's the only way you were able to groom yourself. That's the only way you were able to improve and get better. Just like with anything in life, well, most things in life, doing them and by repetition, and until you get it. It's like riding a bike. The age old example of riding a bike. You keep doing it until you get the hang of it, and it's no different here. Let him play. Just play him. I mean, because honestly, I don't believe the Colts are as much as contenders as they believe they are. Yes, they're very talented, but at the same time, you're in the AFC South with the Texans, who, even though they haven't performed quite like they had last year, but they're still a decent team. I mean, the Titans are just abysmal. We know that. The Jaguars they're still figuring themselves out. They're just not having a great year offensively, and or defensively. So I mean, maybe the Colts are the second best team in that division, but they don't play like it, and that's saying something. And I don't know. I just don't think they're the contenders that they believe that they are. I really don't believe they are those true contenders. But they're a good team, and they have the potential to be. But they're prolonging this process, by having Richardson on the bench, because he right now, gives you, on paper, he may not give you the best chance to win, but looking at in the grand scheme of it, he does give you the better chance to win due to his multiple talents, due to that big arm he has, due to his ability to run the football and just the looseness in the pocket, the ability to get out there and all those things, and he's got that, he's got that talent, he's got that ability, and I just don't think Indianapolis made the right choice, benching him right now at this point in the year, because now if Flacco doesn't improve his play, and he goes out there and shows the old age quarterback that he is, then the Colts they're just going to start reeling. And then, it's like, then you going back to Richardson because that doesn't look good, for optics, right? That doesn't look good, because it's like, oh, well, we bench Anthony Richardson because, he's not playing to our standards. He can't play right now, because of, he doesn't give us the best chance to win. Then you went to Flacco, and then Flacco starts, screwing up for you. And then it's like, okay, oh, Anthony Richardson, hey, man. So actually, it turns out we want you to play. How do you think a player feels in that situation? That's you have to wonder, like, in the mind of that player, like being the starter, then getting benched, and then having the coaching staff come back to you, just because out of desperation, not because they wanted you to get better, not because, they are. Not because they believe in you and believe in the ability that you have to lead the team, but because just out of spite, just because their other option didn't perform. So you're the only other viable choice that they have. It's like, oh, well, I mean, we'll just go back to him. I mean, he's the only thing. He's the only other thing we have here, right? He's the only other person we have here. That really has to like mess with a player's psyche, and it probably would make them not want to play for that team anymore. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Anthony Richardson is thinking right now in his head in the midst of all this. I can imagine it's not many good things. Um, you know, but it's still, I still think the team just made a mistake doing what they did there, and you saw the results last night. They were not able to produce any points really offensively. They weren't able to move the ball efficiently up and down the field. They were terrible on third downs, turned the ball over twice. Just not a good performance by the offense as a whole, not just Flacco, but the offense as a whole. But I still think having Richardson under center would have put you in a better position to at least. If not win the game, I mean, at least just put out a better offensive, you know, showing of what they did. But we won't know that because they didn't give him a chance. So I'm just really interested to see how they play this the rest of the year. The Colts, that is, and how Shane Steichen is going to, handle this quarterback situation. If it's me, I would put Richardson back in, but then again, it's like, does he want to? At this point, it's like, how was he? It's like, will he even be motivated to play to the best of his ability? Because it's just like what he just dealt with. Like I just explained, how it looks optically going back to him, not because they believe in him, but because they just felt like they had to do it because they didn't have any other options. That makes him feel like a secondhand toy almost in a way. That's not. The guy that you picked that high in the draft, that doesn't, just showing that you don't have any type of confidence in him or any type of belief. And that's. So my question, I guess, would be, is he still going to be with the Colts? Like, I mean, I don't know how true this is. And the trade deadline is tomorrow, so I highly doubt this happens. But there were even kind of speculations about teams inquiring about Anthony Richardson to for him to be traded from the Colts, and I highly doubt that happens. But and look, it's the NFL. Who knows now, right? So that's just something to think about. But like I said, that's what I want to go here and talk about today. Mainly, just did the Colts make a mistake benching Anthony Richardson? And what's that going to look like long term for the team? So make sure you guys check us out here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Check us out also on Instagram, like I said, X, TikTok. Follow us, Jace with Down Pod. Check us out on Spotify for podcast, Jace with Down ! And we'll see you next time.